All right, everybody, it's Clear Vision Wednesday time. I am your host, Claudia Mühlenweg. I'm a natural vision teacher and the creator of the Naturally Clear Vision method. And today's class is about grounding, because I don't know about you, but I feel like in the summer, I've just been a little flighty and not feeling really super grounded. So this is also kind of a selfish topic that I'm bringing on today. And we're going to have 3 sessions about this. And today, the very first session, I have the expert in grounding here today, the energy medicine healer, Madison King. So welcome to the show, Maddie.
Well, thank you for having me here, Claudia. I'm just so excited to be here. Hello, everyone.
Hi. So tell us a little bit about, how did you get into this whole field of energy medicine? And how did you arrive at what you're doing today?
The Aladdin's cave of Eden energy medicine just, was hidden to me for a while. And when I was young, I was advertising. I used to make television commercials and, used to walk around with my little Gucci briefcase and, think I was very important. And one day I thought, this cannot be what my life's about. And basically, I went off and became a sort of workshop groupie for a few years. This is before the days of internet, many decades ago. And I studied massage and reflexology and Traeger and nutrition and all these different things. I came across a woman called Donna Eden, who has since developed the Eden method, Eden energy medicine. And, sometimes in life, everything just goes click, 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 And within 2 weeks, I was in America studying with her. There were about 3 of us in those days, in the early days. It's now a big school. And so all these decades I've worked with Donna. I started up the school in Europe. I teach the advanced things, the advanced courses in America. But we all gravitate, Claudia, towards one thing. And I gravitated to, in my own work, Madison's medicine, towards 2 things based around Donna's work, of course. And that was animals. Animals, of course. What does that do with eyesight? Well, osmosis sometimes with your animals, but also about empowering, especially women, with self-care. So that's now my sort of mission in life, really, is to teach and to write about that. And grounding is so fundamental to our well-being. So that's me, ex-advertising lady, many decades ago.
You've been on TV and you wrote in many books, and I put all that in the bio so people, you guys can read up on Madison King. I mean, she is a, what do you call it? Like an icon. You are an icon. And so I'm so happy to have you here. So tell us a little bit about, and I do want to say self-care is so super important. It's changed my life completely. When I started each morning with at least an hour, sometimes 2 hours of self-care, it just makes all the difference in the world. But so tell us a little bit about, so grounding is our topic, and obviously we connect this to eyesight. So tell us a little bit about that connection, and also what does grounding really mean?
That's a really, really good question. And, I would say to some people, if you've got the discipline to do an hour or 2 every day of self-care, that's fantastic. But know yourself. And, if you can, I can't do that. I can only do 5 minutes. A minute of self-care is better than nothing. But the fundamental thing of self-care is you've got to enjoy it. And if you enjoy it, you will do it. And I know that later on you'll be covering things like walking in nature or whatever, that's a really good thing to do. But grounding is about that connection with the earth. So if you think of the earth we walk upon, it has a gravitational pull, it has an actual polarity. And our feet that are meant to connect to the earth, we were not born with rubber trainers on our feet, our feet have a polarity, and the 2 match. Okay, they entwine. And so we are like conduits, really. We can discharge into the earth any of the old, stale, excess stress energies in our bodies, any toxicity, can be discharged into the earth. At the same time, the earth can feed us. So if you think of grounding as plugging into this amazing energy which we have beneath our feet. And when you do so, you might think, okay, that's my feet. What's it got to do with my eyes? Well, when you plug into that energy, it doesn't stop at your feet. If you're effective in your grounding, it comes up and it infuses every single cell in your body. And that includes the eyes. all the organs, everything. And in traditional energy medicine, certain organs are and meridians are associated with eye health. That's infused. You know, if you just sat with your feet on the ground, and I'm going to show you some really nice things. That's why I say you've got to enjoy the energy work. And just do it every day. You can even do it if you're sort of watching television or just sitting down. But it's very easy, and it will open up that connection with the earth. It will ground you. So, you know, emotionally, for example, we all experience emotions such as fear, trauma, shock, jealousy, anger, irritation, frustration, all these things, natural, but they need an exit. And if you are grounded, a lot of the energy of these emotions, because everything has an energy, as Einstein said, will actually disperse into the earth. So yes, you'll feel anger, but you won't hold on to it so much. You know, so emotionally, it makes you healthier and less toxic. Spiritually, it does. You know, when your emotions and your physical are balanced, it frees up energy. It frees up thought. It frees up you to delve deeper into your spiritual path and to see the world differently. So it's not just the eyesight that the grounding helps. It's also your perception of your world. So go on there.
You know, you and I share in common our love for being barefoot, and so I'm curious because you just, you know, glossed over that really quickly with the rubber soles. So first of all, can we only ground to the feet, and can we ground to the feet only if we are barefoot?
Well, I think the ideal is barefoot. The ideal is barefoot, but we live in a very strange world, and if you have got shoes on, with your mind, you can work through those shoes. Okay, but it's better to be barefoot. You can also, if you can't be barefoot, sometimes I will sit when I'm out walking. If I don't want to take my shoes off because of the terrain, I will stick my fingers in the earth. You know, you can earth through there. You can imagine as well earthing through your coccyx. If you like, if you are good at visualizing, some people don't like visualization, in which case get your feet on the earth, you know, or your fingers in the earth. But if you enjoy visualization, you're good at it, you can be 10 stories up and you can visualize those little roots going down into the earth and connecting.
Can you show us, share a little bit about that visualization? How does that work? Let's say somebody works in the building, like you said, 10 stories up. How would you visualize that?
There's a really good one. I'm going to really go quickly over it now, but it is on my website. It's all free if you want to hear it or read it. One I love is this. Okay, so you just take a nice deep breath first of all. Let's all do it together now. I'm going to go fast. You go more slowly than this in real time, but just take a nice deep breath and smile. Smiling releases endorphins. It begins to relax you. That little mini me inside thinks, oh, this is going to be nice. She's smiling. And then bring all your attention down the body, slowly down the body until your attention lands on your feet. Take it down to the soles of the feet. And you begin to feel a little frisson, little tingling on the soles of your feet. And slowly these little roots begin to come through your socks, your shoes, the floor, down through the building, all the way down through the building to the foundations, through those foundations, and then they come into the earth, the first layer of earth. And there is a breathing in these roots, and the roots go down deeper and they move out to the side as well. And this network of roots feels this freedom, and you just bury down and down and down into the earth until there is a peacefulness. You just feel that peacefulness where your roots are just there, and any old stale emotions or energies or anger or anything at all, you just feel flooding down through this root network into the earth. When there comes that moment of peace, what is meant to go has gone. Then you become aware of the energy around the roots. And it's a cooling energy. It's a very feminine energy. It's very nourishing, replenishing, healing. And it starts to travel up your root ways. The roots love it. They adore it. They welcome it. This wonderful healing yin energy comes up through your root network, all the way up through the foundations of the building, through the floor, through your shoes, through the soles of your feet, up through your feet, through your ankles, swirling around your ankles, this wonderful, nourishing, replenishing, loving, life-giving energy. The eternal female comes up to the knees. It swirls around the knees, up to the hips. As it swirls around the hips and Aphrodite's bowl, our wombs, as it comes up the body to the heart, and it merges there with the heart. And the two energies are two really powerful healing energies. You can just put your hands over your heart and connect to that, and just feel the connection maintained going down into the earth, discharging and nourishing as it comes up. This wave of energy, just connecting you to Gaia, plugging into this amazing source of healing energy for us. And then just smile. And I always like, Claudia, to end anything like that by just saying thank you and smiling. And you can do that anywhere.
That was wonderful.
And, you take it a little bit more slowly. You put it in your own language, but you can do it sitting on a bus, do it anywhere. And no one knows. No one,
I have a quick question about this. So we do something called palming a lot, right? Where we rest our eyes and we close our eyes and cover them with our cupped hands to deeply relax. So could I potentially bring that up even further into the eyes, that kind of energy?
Yes, and get a really good one, and really, really quick. Okay, so you have your heart and your yin energy here. Okay, then what you can imagine is that weaving together, and then it's coming up to the shoulders, down your arm, into your hand, up to the shoulder, down the arm, and in the hand. And that's, you have that yin and heart energy that you can bring up to the eyes.
Right.
And it will come out of your hands, There is another one, if you really, really want to work with this, is you bring the yin up, mix it with the heart, and then you pull the yang energy down. So you just, Donna Eden has an exercise called Heaven Rushing In, okay, which just calls in that yang energy up there above us. And you just pull that energy in. I'll put it in the notes, Heaven Rushing, just pull it in. And then you get what I call the sacred triad. Yang, yin, and heart mixed together out of through your arms, into your hands, and anywhere on the body. But round the eyes is really good. That just holding it on the eyes.
Beautiful. I love that, connecting that energy. So the yang that comes down and the yin is from the earth coming up,
yes.
Correct? Okay.
And we are actually, thank you, Trisha. We are actually conduits for this energy. So it's not just about getting the yin and the yang balance in our bodies. We discharge into the earth and we take yin energy up to the sky. So we are like a conduit of energy for the earth as well. So when you're looking after yourself, you're also contributing to the planet's health as well through this exchange, this magnetic exchange of energy.
I like that idea of a conduit, like how an outlet has the grounding socket. You talked about that, how we actually ground. So that's beautiful. Anything else you want to share about the science? Because I love how we interweave some of the actual techniques so that we can all get more grounded as we're watching this live or later as a replay. Anything else that you want to say about, like, how grounding works from a scientific perspective? I know we can go into a vast area here, but anything, like, I leave it up to you what you feel is useful to share in the context of vision.
Well, I am the least scientific person you'll ever talk to.
But you know, the
So
logic, the outline that you sent me, there was a few things. I liked how you talked about physical, emotional, and spiritual level.
yes, yes, and really, it's when we feel so physically, when we feel grounded, when we feel connected to the earth is our home. And so, it goes back to our ancestors. And when we feel connected, and there is that connection, that polarity between our feet and the earth, which science can prove. I'm not going to attempt to do it here, but I promise you, science has proved it. There is that connection. Physically, when we feel that connection, it reflects in everything. There is a stronger posture as the muscles, as every part of our body is energized. You see it in posture. If you are a little bit depressed, get out in nature, walk, ground yourself, do what I've just shown you. I'm going to show you a couple more things. And you'll actually find posture changes, that it affects you physically. Emotionally, as I said before, if you are grounded, you will discharge all those negative emotions, which we're going to have. They're natural. They're absolutely natural, and they're not bad. But you don't want the energy, say, of shock or trauma hanging around in your body. It's natural to have it. So when you're grounded, that will leave, especially through that visualization I just told you. And also, if there is something specific, emotionally that you'd like to get rid of, focus on it. When you do that visualization, or whatever I'm going to show you now, you just think, I release all the shock that I had this morning. I release it into the earth. I release it with love. You can work on something specific. It doesn't have to be generalized. It can be very, very specific. So those are the two key things with grounding, the physical and the emotional. But when you have those two, working well, you've mastered the grounding in that way, then your spirit grows, because suddenly you are, how can I say this? You are plugged into something bigger than you. You do begin to get more reflective, more philosophical, more into your spiritual journey, because you have more time, more energy to do it, because you are grounded. You haven't got so many problems emotionally or physically that you have to deal with. So you have that energy left over, and that quietness. If you can get to a place of calm and quietness, then the spirit grows. When our spirit grows, we find contentment, and it's easier to be happy. And I am an absolute believer, and I think you are as well, Claudia, that 99.9999999% of everything that is wrong with us, any dis-ease, is either caused by or certainly exacerbated by stress. So when you are grounding, you are releasing so much stress from your body, and all that energy is going to go to self-healing. The cells can renew more easily with that two-way. Energy has to move to be healthy. That's the basis of grounding. And when you're not grounded, energy is not moving. And when energy doesn't move, it becomes congested. The body can become stiff. The mind can become stiff. Things don't move. You've got to get energy moving, and that's what grounding.
I love that, because I've heard someone say emotions are energy and motion. So, and in a way, but if it gets stuck, so is there a connection to certain organs? Like we talked about earth, right? That grounding has to do with Mother Earth. And is there a connection to the different organ systems in the body that, are usually mostly affected? We do know that the eyes obviously are connected to that. Anything else that you feel like from a physical standpoint that is kind of released? Or like, for instance, I give you an example. I tend to have, when I get really stressed, my eyes get like, my jaw gets really tight, and my stomach, like right under my rib cage, like not the lower belly, but the upper belly gets really tight.
Yes.
Does that make sense? Or
yes, it really everything reacts to stress, and we're all individual, but what you're describing is classic stomach meridian, which is an anxious sort of stress. Now, stomach meridian is really, really important for grounding. It starts on the eye there, and it comes down, it comes along the jaw, hence you get that feeling in the jaw, comes up, and it comes down through the eyes. So, I mean, how important is that? It's coming right in the eye and down the eye, and then it comes all the way down to your second toe. When I say second toe, I can't get my foot up, this one
Oh,
here.
let me hide my picture so we can see you bigger, because I know there's also certain energy points on the feet that I think would be nice to see. Okay, so show us.
Okay, so stomach's coming off there. So it's coming from all the way from here, down here, round, right through the eye, down the torso, and it ends coming off that second toe. So therefore, it does two things when you work your stomach meridian. And how can you work that? A simple way is just tapping on its pathway. So if you come to the, if you smile and you come to the sort of apex of that smile and you just tap there, that's tapping on the stomach meridian. That is going to reduce anxiety, that tummy flutters, that, oh, what am I going to do? Oh, you know, that sort of anxiety. At the same time, that energy is a yang energy. Stomach is a yang, it's a masculine energy pathway, and they always run downwards. And that's running downwards, and that's anchoring you right into the earth, discharging that anxiety. So that's a really, really good one. The other one that is that really does affect the eyes is liver meridian. Now, liver meridian is on the big toe, on the this side of the toe, the lateral side, just here. Okay, and it comes up between these toes. Now, when you may, if you're flexible now, you may be doing it, but when you try this later, as you come up this little valley here between these two toes, before you hit the main bone here, there's a little dip. Now that is liver 3. Doesn't matter what it's called. It's a real master point. And in acupuncture, they call it one of the 4 gates. And the reason they call gates should be open to allow energy to flow through. And if you massage this gate, it opens up and allows energy to really flood into the lower body. You know, if you're working with energy, you want energy to come in. So with grounding, you may be grounding through this point here, which I'm going to show you in a minute, but you also want it to carry on moving up. Also, the ankles can be, you can pull up the energy, but the ankles can get very congested, especially, you know, if you have arthritis or joint problems. So just tap, 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 tap with your fingertips all around. Just looking now because I normally have my tapper and I can't see it. Anyway, fingertips, and then brush off the toes. Okay. So again, it's about enlivening the energy, calling on the energy to move.
So that's awesome. So basically, just to recap the stuff with the foot, because I like to, so would you massage, you talked first about the stomach being on the second toe, right? So would it make sense to massage that second toe, or would you, what would you do with that? When you talk about, yeah, okay.
Yes, I should. So you tap that, but when you come onto the foot, first of all, this point here, kidney 1, is the point where energy enters the body from the earth. It's called the wellspring. It's a spring of energy that comes in. You want that clear. And literally, you massage your foot, pull it, doesn't matter, just pull it apart all over and make sure that that feels really open. So there is your entry point. Now, what could stop it? Okay, stomach might not be discharging in, so you can massage that toe. You can massage all the toes if you want, because they also, in reflexology, this stomach toe is also associated in some schools with the eyes, and other schools it's these toes here. So it doesn't matter what school, just massage them all. Okay, so these are eyes with reflexology. This is stomach, which is grounding you. You've got liver on this big toe. So don't worry too much about numbers or names. Just massage all your toes. Massage here. The other point is just here. This is not an acupressure point. This is a point through which shock can depart your body. And that is a thing that really gets congested. So you can either rub hard here, or you can just, if you've got a little pebble, a little smooth tumbled crystal, or a little golf ball or something, just sit with your foot on that with just enough pressure And you will find that if you did that every day for a week, that would begin to release any shock that is stored in your body, which is causing mischief. And it can travel up and to your eyes. It energetically can influence how you perceive life if you've had trauma. So that's a good point. So you're working the soles of your feet here, here, opening up, massaging the toes. And then you can come over and just massage up here for this liver 3 point. You can come up a bit further and tap all around the joint, and then what I call brush off, shake it off, brush off each toe. So you've do it on both feet. You've enlivened your, I'll put my foot down now. You've enlivened the energy coming in. There's no specific way. Make it a way that you enjoy. I love oils. So I will use a lovely mix of oil. Like I like the grounding ones. Like I'm an old hippie, so the patchouli ones I love, the cedarwood, but just a lavender, a simple lavender or something, you know, or a lovely lotion that you can make. Treat yourself, massage it, open it up, and then you can do your visualization. You can also do one other thing. If you have,
I'm going to hide myself again so we can see you better. Okay.
Yeah, this is lovely. I never travel anywhere with a student made this for me. This is an ordinary stainless steel spoon, and she painted it for me because she was an artist, and I love it. Right, you can get a small one or a big one, doesn't matter. I do this. I fly a lot backwards and forwards to America, and I always do this as soon as I get to my hotel room. Foot up, do a bit of a massage, and then connect and just spoon the feet. Okay, this helps restore the magnetic polarity of your foot. You remember at the beginning, I said, you know, your foot is standing on the earth. The polarities have to be right so that the energy is exchanged and not repelled. And this really helps it. So you just do this just for a minute, 30 seconds on each foot. Some people like figure of eighting, you know, just really with that side. And what this does, it just attaches magnetically, because stainless steel has a magnetic quality to it, to all those little cells in the feet, and encourages the polarity to right itself. Because when we fly, when we, you know, go on these fast trains or cars or anything, our polarity, especially with flying, can go off. This is lovely. So find yourself a stainless steel spoon. How do you know if it's stainless steel? Put a little magnet on it and it should stick. Then it's stainless steel.
Wow, that is amazing. I mean, I teach the Roll and Relax practices with my little yoga tune-up balls for the massage of the foot. And we're going to do that in the third grounding session. But I love these additional little tricks and tips with between the big, that going up that groove and the kidney point. So that's really, really awesome.
Yes.
And the spoon is very awesome. So we did a lot of different things. Do you have anything else in store for us, or do you feel like, because I don't want to overwhelm everybody, but you're going to write a blog post with all these things listed out?
I can't have it. I've got so excited, Claudia, and I thought, I'm going to say this, I'm going to say that, and then I thought, no, that's way too much. So what I'll do is I'll just write a little blog, and that will just go up on my website, and people can just access it. It will go up tonight or tomorrow, and so it will give you a little bit more detail about it. But can I say one more thing, which is really, really simple? And what I would say is there's lots of things in the blog. I'm sharing lots now. You only do one thing. Just try them all and see which one you go, oh, I like this. And that's the one you'll do. You only have to do one, unless you're obsessive like me and try and do them all. But one thing I really, really love is, you know, you getting all the energy released up. I'm going to say two things. If you just massage, come here. Just come a look. Okay, so if you make a little smiley face, just come into where that wrinkle is, and just along here. Don't do this if you're pregnant. Encourages contractions, but just basically massage there. You know how I said how the liver 3-point on the foot opens up all the energy to the lower body? This is a master point for the eye. I'm sure someone's covered it before, but you know, you can just do this on both sides just for a few seconds, and that gets all the energy shooting up. So you've got the energy shooting up. You want all this grounding energy that you're pulling up. You want it running in the right direction. And these points, K27, do just that. Let's all do it together now. Smile and just tap here, just in that right angle between your collarbone and your breastbone, just there. Okay, just tap and smile, really smile, and breathe. 10 seconds, and that flips all the energy to run in the right direction. It's also a shortcut to shooting energy to the eyes. So it's a temporary energy fix, but you get it up there. And when you get it up there, one little trick, I'm sure you've taught the pinching of the eyebrows before,
yes,
which is nice.
Repeat it again for anybody that hasn't seen
Okay.
this.
So I love this. I just love this. Really pinch between the forefinger and thumb, and even pull it out a little bit. Don't hurt yourself, but I'm like pulling out a bit. So I'm pinching and I'm pulling out a bit. It's like a fascia release. Oh, pull out. Pull my eyebrows off now. Pull out. And take a moment to observe how that feels. I mean, already this feels better. You might like to pull open your third eye just for a moment. Then take your middle finger. This is a beautiful finger to work with energy. It's called heart protector finger. It's very yin, it's very gentle, and therefore the body accepts this finger very easily. And you just come on to this area between your eyebrows, yin tang it's called, third eye, and just feel the connection there. You may be touching, you may be just gently off it, but you just there. And then I want you, doesn't matter what direction you go in, to very, very slowly. I like doing it just off the skin. And I am doing a figure of 8 around my eyes. And I would do this very slowly, and I'd probably do it a dozen times. Eyes closed or open, it doesn't matter. But feel that energy connecting. And then you may suddenly think, oh, I think I'm going to go in the other direction. Just do it gently and feel the energy moving. It is wonderful for dispersing energy around the eyes, for weaving together the right and left brain when there's confusion and you can't think clearly. If you go to bed at night and you fall asleep after you've read the first paragraph of your book, off with the light on, probably the energy is not crossing well in your eyes. And this slowly gets the energetic patterning strong again between the eyes. And you'll find this is really good with children as well, if they're in the class and they're reading all the time. They don't have blackboards now, do they? But the screens, going backwards and forwards. That if they're doing this as well, it helps the energy not cut out. And therefore it makes learning easier for them. Because what you sometimes, and I'm not going into that one anymore because that's a really long one, but no, just figure of 8, magical.
That's a brilliant tip. One thing that I always teach is that you go up and not go down. Is that something that you would also encourage, or does it matter in your opinion?
I like going up,
right,
following the line and then coming down and then up.
But you go up to the nose when you cross the nose, not down. Okay, good, gotcha. We have some questions, and I always had a question when you talk about the travel and the spooning. On the spooning also has different meanings, but the spooning with the feet. What if you're in a hotel and has like this, carpet or this synthetic stuff? Is that in any shape or form affecting the grounding? I mean, we know nature is best than being barefoot in the grass or the sand or the dirt. But what about those synthetic carpeting stuff? Is that affecting the grounding when you do it with a spoon, or?
Well, all the synthetics would adversely affect us in some way. So if you just thought, every evening when I go to bed, I'm just going to get my polarities right, and you just spooned every night, then whatever has happened, even if you've got the synthetics in your house, you go to bed with your polarities right. And okay, when you're asleep, you're not on the ground, but you are still, there's still a connection there.
Right.
So
But
I think
would you do the spoon in the bed then versus doing it when okay.
Yep, absolutely. Do you know what sometimes I think is we have to adapt to a different world our ancestors lived in. And I do believe in a positive frame of mind. And if you're working in an office which is all electronic and all ungrounded and you're 10 stories up and it's synthetic, if you are there, if you are positive about it, it will help your body cope. Because if you're negative, it takes away the ability, it lessens the ability for your body to cope because it's a stress. And you think, my body can cope with this because when I go home at night, I'm going to spoon my feet or put my feet in Epsom salt bath or do whatever grounding technique you want. And sometimes it's as simple as a really good shower. Now, I haven't tried this, but I want to. Claudia, I don't know if you've come across these shower mats that you put by your shower or by your bath, that when you get out, you tread on them, and they're moss. They're live moss.
Oh, no, I have not tried that. I've never
heard of and that. I've seen them, and I want to get one. If anyone's got one, please let me know, because I'm dying to get one.
A green thumb? Do you need a green thumb to keep them alive? Or
no, because in a bathroom, they do thrive quite well. And I know that we did experiments with Donna Eden in New York, way up in a building, and she bought a piece of turf, a bit of grass, and we're testing, people were ungrounded, and they stood on this, and after less than a minute, they were beginning to get their grounding back. So, there's always a way, and try and get creative with like get a moss bath, a moss mat.
I totally love what you said about mindset, because obviously people are different, have different sensitivities to all kinds of things, to stress, to EMFs, other things. But I think knowing your sensitivity, but also changing that mindset to I am strong, and getting and doing the practices that you share for us to get that energy flowing versus constantly thinking how, that. So there's that middle way of like, yes, you are smart about EMFs, you learn about them and you set up. There was a question. Speaking of EMFs, there was a question about grounding mats. Do the grounding mats made with pebbles work for grounding when inside the house? Okay.
Someone's read one of my blogs, and absolutely. I got this from my friend called Dondi, because she doesn't, she wanted something. She got one of those carpet samples that you get, about that square. And she got lots of pebbles when she went to the beach and from her garden and everything. And she stuck them on there. And so when she's sitting at her desk, shoes off, feet on the pebbles, and it grounds. We were testing and everything, and it was really grounding. Yeah, pebbles ground extremely well.
People on YouTube are saying, wow, my vision is so much clearer. These are wonderfully relaxing and grounding. So yeah, this was really awesome. And I also want to say again what you said, because for all of us that need to be perfectionists, just pick the one, try them out and pick the one, or maybe alternate. And I also love what you said about the self-care. I did a rounding retreat with lots of meditation and yoga. So I've been sticking to that routine, but I also had times in my life where it was literally 2 minutes of self-care. So I think as long as we do something, and once you start, that's my experience.
That's it.
Usually then you want to do a little bit more. It's just like the hardest thing is to get on the mat or get your feet on the ground.
Yes.
Take your shoes off more. I think that's a message, right? Is there anything else that you would share with everybody before we close the live stream? Because I don't see any more questions. Anything else that you want to, as closing parting words here with YouTube?
Well, I just think you keep going on from being very positive, and when you're doing any grounding technique, you can just say talk to your body. Science has proved the body hears, the cells hear what you're saying, and just say, every cell in my body is renewing with health and vitality. My eyesight is becoming clear and crystal and wonderful, whatever words you want to use. But when you're doing things, you add that nuance by talking to your body. And if you're new to this, you might think, oh, yeah, really? Yes, really. It does work. No one's going to see you. So do what Maddie says, talk. And, you're so right, Claudia. As you start, maybe it's 1 minute a day you begin to feel the benefits, and your body yearns for balance. It yearns to regain its balance, and you'll slowly begin to find yourself making time for you. It's always possible. I want you to be number one on your priority list.
I totally love that. And share, just so to close this, you have a free resources, a couple of resources that we put into the show notes. So that's your website, and then there's also your Facebook group and your Instagram. But tell us a little bit about the thing that when someone subscribes to your newsletter, what are they going to get?
Oh yes. I think grounding is so important, and also being able to self-test is so important, that if you subscribe to my website newsletter, and I will not inundate you, sometimes I need to go out, send out once a month, but it's worthwhile. You get five free gifts. One is a booklet about grounding. One is about self-testing, which I think everyone should be able to do, tell you all about it. And then some other things, a little energetic cure all I do, and a meditation. That's Sacred Triad, who I talked about. That's there. So you get all of those. But also I would encourage you to go and explore the blog section, because they're all in the form of PDFs, Claudia, but a lot of them have little video links to classes I've done. And all the blogs are free. And there's some online modules which you pay for. But there's loads of stuff on there free. And, I'd love to see it.
So generous of you. And if people want to work with you a little bit more, what are some options for someone who's like, I love this, I want to work with Maddie? Like, what are some options of working with you?
Well, I do a lot of I have been doing a lot of online classes on specific areas. So you can either buy some of those classes, they've been the replays, or just keep an eye open. And if you're on my newsletter, every time I'm going to do a class, I will tell you. And it's very, very simple, Claudia. I'll do it on Zoom, and I record it, so you've got it replay forever and ever and ever. I always do a big handout, because as you can see, I love writing about it as well. I just find after 40 years, Claudia, I'm still so excited. I'm still learning. It's such an Aladdin's cave, and it's just a joy to share it with people. Anyway.
I can so relate. This was wonderful. Thank you so much. And if anyone on YouTube listening is interested in, getting this extra time with my guests, ask me about the Clear Vision Club. You can post in the comments. We have a little community where we do now a little bit extra face-to-face time where people can unmute and share and ask Maddie some questions. So let me know if you're interested. Just post that in the comments. And otherwise, YouTube, I see you next week. And I will be doing some grounding with the massage balls, and then we'll talk about shoes. So next time we will focus even more on the feet. All right, everybody.